Speaking to The Times, the leader of Reform UK, which is, of course, Andrea's party, said he thought there was a good chance of him being voted into Downing Street in another potential sign that he's getting ready for power. Farage has also reportedly been speaking to Boris Johnson's former aide, Dominic Cummings, which caused this cartoon to happen. Reform have been leading a number of recent major polls. The party has been rocked by the suspension of the MP Rupert Lowe over allegations of workplace bullying and a police probe into an allegation of physical threats against Reform's chairman. Lowe denies the claims, but he called Reform a protest party led by the Messiah, i.e. Farage, and he clearly believes that they've then got it in for him and have reported him to the police as a result. So it's all a bit of a mess in your party. You've only got 5. Was it 6 MPs or 5?
No, I think it's just...
How many MPs is it?
Well, it's 4 now, isn't it?
So it was 5?
It was 5.
Not good, is it?
I mean, let's look at the Lowe situation. Personally, I thought it was very selfish of him, you know, pulling the first punch when we're so near these local elections. It's my election coming up as well.
What attacking Farage for being like
yeah,
a messiah?
I mean, why not do it behind closed doors? Or wait until after the local elections? There's, you know, people have been pounding the streets for this. So I think he shouldn't have pulled the first punch. I think it's selfish, actually. But look, I do think that Nigel can become Prime Minister. What I found remarkable, actually, is when I'm on the doorstep, I didn't see this in the Conservative Party, maybe briefly during Brexit, but the Reform ability to pull off both the Labour and the Conservative votes, it's quite remarkable,
both off.
Actually, yes. And look, we've got a conference with 10,000 people coming up, and it's going to be one of the biggest rallies. And I'm finding on the doorstep, actually, it's not like it is on Twitter. I mean, after this storm brewed, the next day I was in Grantham campaigning, and only one person mentioned it.
Yeah, it may be a non-event. Yeah. Do you think, Jonathan, that Farage could be the next Prime Minister?
Well, obviously in politics, anything can happen. But at the moment, the Reform is in a mess. I mean, Nigel Farage wants to run the country. I don't think he could run a bath at the moment. They're all infighting. And
look,
I
you
think
back Corbyn. You was in Corbyn's shadow cabinet.
That was a different era. That's a long time ago. But look, he's going to be put under scrutiny. Right? He's going to be pointed out that he's talked about charging for the NHS. Do your viewers want to pay 15 grand for a hip replacment? I doubt it.
Oh, come on, he said that though, has he?
Yes, he says he wants a French system of charges. That's what, if you introduce charges in the NHS, you'll have a system that checks your purse before your pulse. Yeah, that's the Farage policy.
Let's face it, Labour's been saying for about 30 years that the Conservatives are going to privatise the NHS and never did. This is the...
Nigel Farage says it. He says it on the record.
You want an insurance system, but listen, this is all about politics getting real for your party, isn't it? Suddenly you're not being they're not talking about Brexit and the EU, they're talking about the NHS.
Look, we're 4 years away from election, unless there's a snap-on, which I don't think it will be yet. We're 4 years away from the election, and we're in an amazing place, actually, to be so high in the polls with just, you know, a handful of MPs.
I don't understand
and
why...
I think we can really build on this.
But this thing of you've lost one of your 5 MPs, that would be the equivalent of 85 Labour MPs resigning. Mm. It's quite a big thing. I don't understand. Can people not work with Mr. Farage or what?
No. Do you know what I think it is? I think I've seen it so many times. You've probably seen it in the Labour Party. Somebody comes along and they get all these love and adoration on social media. They've been in politics 5 minutes and then they suddenly think they can become party leaders.
It's about Rupert Lowe.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Is that what you think he wants to be leader?
Oh, that's what I think's happening. Come on, we've seen it in the Labour Party.
Oh yeah, you get it in politics where these people think they're big household names and they're hardly a name in their own household. I mean,
so interesting.
But I do think that. I mean, I wouldn't have joined the party if I didn't think they could take power. But there's some pivotal moments coming up. I mean, we've got these local elections where we could potentially take control of some of the councils. There's myself trying to be a mayor, and so to have elected power, and also in Hull, we've got the boxer Luke there. And then the next stage is a Welsh Assembly as well. So I think this is a good test run. It takes us from being a party to where we're on the periphery without power, to have power and show what we can do.
What is extraordinary, you'd expect when you've got a Labour government, it would be Kemi Badenoch and the Tories making the running, and she's sinking without trace.
Oh, completely.
Isn't it?
Well, that probably is the case at the moment. Yeah. But it's also, what helps you a bit is that Starmer was heading off the edge of the cliff, as far as I could tell, and he's now become a world figure because of Trump. So you've got a problem here because he's bouncing back. Starmer isn't now the
He's still
figure
not that
of,
popular, though, is he?
He's not the figure of ridicule he was. Tony in Hampshire, hello.
Hi there.
So what do you think? Farage is the next Prime Minister?
Well, do you know what? If you'd asked me about 3 weeks or a month ago, I would have said it was concerningly looking like the case. But I think what I've seen happen recently, and actually I disagree with Andrea because I've been on X quite a lot, and there is so much disharmony. I dropped in one feed where, as well as talking about getting rid of Farage and Dice, and a lot of disdain towards Zia Youssef, they were talking about reinstating Rupert Lowe and even that Tommy Robertson should be leader of the party. And in the same week, I watched the Reform Party political...
X is just a sewer.
But that's not real life, though, Tony.
Go on, Tony.
I watched the Reform Party political broadcast in the same week, and it was just very strange that apart from the chairman, in all the pictures of audiences around the country, didn't see one black or brown person. Bit concerning, that.
OK, Tony, thank you. Alice in Manchester, do you think Farage is on track for number 10?
Yes, I do. Obviously, it's 4 years away, but he really does need to sort out the infighting. Rupert Lowe, as Andrea was saying, I think he really would see himself as the future leader. And I think now we're going to see even more nastiness coming from him. And he did accuse Nigel of being messianic. Now, he's got a point. Whenever the strength of a good leader is when you look at all the criticisms that you get and you take on board. And I think Nigel Farage has to take on board that you can't just, sort of ignore all these people's comments. You've got to look into it, see, is there some truth in it? Because I want to vote. I voted for reform. I am a brown person. I hate using these words. I'm a woman of colour. I'm from India originally. And I do believe that we need to go a different way. But he really does need to think about
I mean, in the end, it's a what do you call it? It's a one superstar band, isn't it? It's got.
I think politics has got like that, though, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
And he's a very good communicator, and there's no one to rival him.
I mean, can I just?
Quickly, yeah.
Look, the comments that Rupert made, I haven't seen genuinely. Nigel's been amazingly supportive with me, and even the structure in the party, it's getting more professionalised. People are selecting the local candidates. But I mean, I was at a meeting a week ago with Nigel planning my campaign, and really they've let me just get on with what I want my manifesto to be. So I haven't seen this side what Rupert's saying.
Right. Thanks, Alice. Ray in West Glamorgan, do you think Farage is on track to be in number 10?
Hello, good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, panel. I think, yes, the general public are fed up of the two-horse race that is being continually run with Conservative and Labour. We need a choice. We need a change. We need something different, because that's all we are fed is lies. We stop the boats, doesn't happen. We won't raise taxes go up straight away. And it's just like, if these pair are so ingrained in the fact that either one of them are going to get voted in all the time, that they just are complacent with it. We need change. We need 3 horses in the race rather than 2.
This will be great for Labour.
But what, a change to what? Because I tell you what it will be a change to. It'll be for you paying thousands of pounds for NHS treatment, thousands of pounds for a hip replacement, a hernia operation or a cataract removal. That's their policy. Nigel Farage has said it. He wants an insurance system with charges. He has said it. He said it on the record in the Daily Telegraph over Christmas.
So he said you're going to pay £15,000 for a hip operation?
He said you're going to introduce... How much will be a hip operation be then, under your plans?
Well,
will it be nothing? Will it be £1,000? Will it be £2,000?
It will be free at the point of use.
No, it's not. He's actually said there'll be charges.
You're talking about insurance system, are you, or what?
No, I mean, look, I studied, I did my dissertation on the NHS, actually, and looking at different health systems around the world. And It has got to be reformed. It's not
Okay.
working
So
as it is. I'm not saying charging.
What are you saying then?
No, I'm just saying it's got to be reformed. We've got to look at a way. Yes, it's got to be free at the point of use,
That's
but we've
not
got
what Nigel Farage
but
said.
we've got to look at a new way of funding it because
All right.
it's not working.
He said charges.
Being asked about something other than the EU shows that your party's getting bigger, I guess.